undisputed champion for justice. I challenge her to come here and debate me, face to face.
If he thinks I will not confront him on camera,
Lois.
my reputation is at stake.
This needs to work.
After today, the whole world is going to be on your side.
So, maybe that's a preview of things to come. Maybe not. But we got finally the Michael Cudlitz directed episode as we come down to the last two episodes after this one, right? So obviously I could not watch this because of the game. So the Clippers are playing on Monday. What are the odds you think we're going to see episode 9? Probably not. Probably not. But probably next Saturday. Because I had to check for the scheduling. I miss TV Guide. I really do. But TV Guide would not have... I mean, you'd have to wait till you went to watch your local news, and it would have a little scroll at the bottom of the screen. And so, programming note, this episode will air on Saturday at 2 in the morning or whatever the fuck, right? So, now we have the internet, we have Google, we can do this, right? So, I did not hate this episode like the last few episodes. It was better, but not way better, not much better. Not in great quality, but it was bearable. It's like going from Robitussin or like just a sour Robitussin to like a nice NyQuil. It's like, okay, it's not something, I mean, that's the beverage you're having is NyQuil. But it's not great, but it's there. It's better. And we have Lex Luthor trying, now there's this whole scene where he's watching one person putting trash in a cup, one person spilling their food, one person spinning the globe at 10-degree angles, one person dusting the table doesn't need to be dusted, right? People are laughing, and he tells Amanda McCoy, we got to shut this down. We cannot do this. So there's a lot of weird game of chess here. Amanda McCoy wants to be with Lex. We got Milton Fine now. What is Milton Fine? Is Milton Fine just a smart guy? Is he a cyborg with human skin like the Terminator? Is he a miniature alien robot that has somehow like bored itself into the human brain of Milton Fine? Is it like a tumor robot that's inside, like Mr. Mind? You know, what is it? What is Brainiac in this Superman and Lois universe? I don't know. Either it's a mini robot inside a human brain that's doing evil, or it's an alien possessing a human, or it's completely a robot. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. We're going to find out. We only have 2 episodes left. We find out that Clark Kent is dying. Superman's not going to have his power. He had enough power to try to take down the steel armor, but the steel armor got away from him, but he was up in space. So he's losing his powers. He does the best he can. The whole scene where he flies to the LexCorp building, that 2-second scene, in the 40, what is it, 44, 45, 48 minutes of time, right? 45 to 48 minutes of airtime. 2 seconds of seeing Superman fly to the Lex Luthor building from the late 80s, early 90s was that was my favorite part of the whole episode, because that takes me back to 1989, 1990, 1991. It really takes me back to those years where Superman would go to the LexCorp building and accuse Lex of some corrupt misdeed that you have to prove it. You have to prove he did it. So Otis is dead. He died off screen. Gretchen's probably dead too, because who can trust any of those two knuckleheads, right? We don't deal with any of the other characters. No Beppo, no Christine Beppo, no Kyle. Lana's not around. Neither is Sarah. We do go back finally to John Henry Irons and Natasha, or Natalie. And Natalie at first doesn't want to do anything, and then she wants to do stuff. Now she wants to be the Natasha we've all grown to admire, but they're working in a little lab, not the steelworks, not the familiar steelworks in the Superman comics. I love that. I love when they built the Fortress of Solitude out of an orb. Okay, that was Superman Man of Steel 100. That was a great Steel issue. They built Superman's fortress. And Superman's fortress was this little Rubik's Cube that's a sphere. And you just put the pieces together and you go into this fourth dimensional space. You know, you go into a wormhole in 3D space. Um, so we have God. So let's talk about Godfrey. We have Godfrey. We have Tom Cavanaugh. Okay, great actor. We all remember him as fake Harrison Wells, real Harrison Wells, Eobard Thorne, right? The Reverse Flash, and we also remember him as Ranger Smith, right? Yogi Bear. So, and also Ed, if you remember the show Ed. Anybody remember Ed? Yeah, Tom Cavanaugh was Ed, the little town person in a small town. Ed. You have to look that up. People forgot about that show. So he's supposed to be Godfrey from Apocalypse. There was a Godfrey in Smallville. He was a radio shock jock. And there was a Godfrey who had his own talk show in Legends. If you remember that, Legends was the first appearance of the Modern Suicide Squad by John Byrne. How do I feel about this episode? Now, the only thing that's really hold back is Natasha's figuring herself out, but it never goes too far. John Kent tries to get back. It gets back with his girlfriend who's having problems. It doesn't. There's a little bit of high school drama, but by the time you get concerned, it's pretty much over. They kiss and make up out on the porch. John Henry Iron steel armor attacks. Natasha steel armor attacks, and her armor unfortunately gets destroyed. And Steel's armor gets taken by Luthor to be remade into this monstrosity, I'm assuming. I don't know what's going to happen. He does have a shaved face now, no beard, which he looked intimidating in. The last few episodes, let's see. Episode of season 4, episodes 3 through 7 were the shittiest episodes I have ever been through. I have been through these episodes. I am so done with those. 3 through 7 are done. Like, I don't care. Now, part of me was hoping, maybe Eric Reloaded said this, maybe other people have said it, but I was kind of hoping that Lex had a fake heart or like a human heart that he crushed under his foot. Like, if he could have used that Kryptonian heart for other purposes, other than just to like fuck with like Jordan Kent, then there would have been a chance that Superman could come back. Now, that might still be fucking true. It might have been all a joke. Like maybe they took it somewhere. Maybe it was put in a refrigerator, but then for all this time, they just saw it. It's like, wait a minute. This looks strange. This is not a Kryptonian heart. Like, oh, Lex lied to us. He tricked us. Okay. So that could still happen, because is this going to end with him dying again? He already died once. Superman already died once. Lois is still Lois. I didn't bring this up the last time, but Lex could have bought the Smallville Gazette anytime he wanted to. And it didn't make sense that they would buy it from Christine Beppo if Lex hadn't figured it out. The whole thing with Lex trying to kill Lana was just shit, and it didn't make a lot of sense. It was, Lex does not do angry, bullying, thuggish things unless he's absolutely fucking desperate. And he's not desperate. Like, I guess he comes off as desperate, but it's like the man has so much power that, there's certain things that Lex is to me. And he can play angry, but he's always laughing behind the scenes because he wants everyone to think that what he shows is what he is. But he doesn't, he just hides it so that nobody can suspect he's up to something until the last moment. But obviously Superman has to win the last move because that's how the story has to be. Lex cannot continuously win to the end. He has to win almost at the end. That's how it works. So what we got tonight, sharp dressed man, as you can see, here's a sharp dressed Lex Luthor. Are we going to see this in season 10? Maybe, probably. I think so. Yeah. I was hoping we were going to see him in medieval type armor, right? And you would see this kryptonite thing in the center that's like smoking out, it's like this kryptonite fog that you see through his face and all that stuff. I'm just thinking he's more, what is it John Henry Irons said, that Lex is not a scientist? But you kind of wonder, you go back to when he was creating Doomsday out of Bizarro. Like, that took science. Who did that? Was that Brainiac? Did Brainiac create Doomsday? What was that about? I don't understand what was happening. It was just like, okay, he's got these weapons. He's testing Bizarro's strength. So in all that time, he's doing scientific things. Because Michael Cudlitz, when you look at Abraham and John Cooper from Southland, you don't get the feeling that he's a scientist, and yet he could do scientific, logical things when he wants to, right? When he's pushed to it, he can do anything like that. But he doesn't sit there and go over equations in his head. He doesn't sit there and he doesn't read books. And yet, if you asked him to, it's like, show me your scientific knowledge, he could probably do it. But in a Michael Cudlitz, like, badass Abraham way, and not in the John Cryer way, not in the John Shee way or Michael Rosenbaum, but the way he knows how to do it, right? So only the way he knows how to do it. So it's just that his Lex Luthor is inconsistent. And yes, we do know that he still has his hang-up with Elizabeth. He has his hang-ups with not Mercy, Amanda McCoy. He has his hang-ups with dealing with the Kents, dealing with Superman. What kind of life is Superman living now that everybody knows who he is and where he lives? It's amazing that nobody... that stupid scene with the paparazzo, right, with all these people, that was so stupid. And I was like, what is that about? Like, it's like they're always going to hunt this kid down. If they know where if everyone knows where the Kents go to shop at the store, where they go eat, where they go take a shit, where they go home, they can't stay at that farm. Why are they still in Smallville if their life is public? It doesn't make sense. I think the whole idea about getting rid of all the other actors, moving to Metropolis, do you all remember that? I sure do. I have a very long memory. They said they would move the whole thing into the city and get rid of all the other actors and just have the family and Lex, and would take place in Metropolis in the city. So that did not happen. It did not happen that way. So a lot of inconsistent things are happening, and yet I enjoyed the episode fine. It was about as good as, like, let's say, Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn. You're going to enjoy it. It makes up for a couple of the episodes, but it's not better than the first 2 episodes on the premiere. Great pending. I'll give it a 65. I'm kind of like, I'm happy about it, but not extremely happy. And I'm not upset. I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle of this. I'm just like, okay, this was not a waste of my 60 minutes with commercials. And so we got 2 more episodes. Either it's going to be on Monday. If not, on Saturday. You'll know why. Go Clippers. Is Donald Sterling dead yet? I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. That's my emotion for it. Stay tuned for next week. We got more videos to come up.